is this the original link that you were having?
Yes.
Like, is there another link?
No, no, no. The one link that I have that I was originally talking to Carlton on is the same link that I sent out for everybody. StreamYards didn't end. The stream itself did, but the StreamYards hangout didn't end. I just sent
No,
it
no,
out.
no, I know, but you said we're going live again. Is there a new link for or you know what I mean?
It'll be a different video. So yes, it will be a different link from the last one.
Um.
If
All
you,
right. So
yeah, just I'm go to the channel and it'll be hopefully fucking live.
well, no, no. If it was live, it would I would say live in the corner. You
Yeah,
gave
it
you
does.
gave the link for the old Hangout.
No, 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 no. StreamYards isn't live. I'm not using StreamYards to stream to the channel. I'm using OBS. See, I said this.
Oh, okay. So
I
I'm
said,
retarded. Okay.
yeah, no, it happens with everybody. I said it to Carlton at the start as well. Everybody fucking gets confused by this. I use StreamYards like people use Zoom, and I just copy and send through OBS.
Okay. That's okay. I'm retarded, I guess.
It's just a handy way. It means that I can put a background, tell it, and fancy things rather than like if you look at the actual video on YouTube, it's got a wee haystack around it. It's got a background. It's got my wee symbol in the corner. It's a little bit more exciting looking than here's StreamYards. I'm a black screen, and I ain't fucking paying for them. No, I'm not paying for it. This is all free.
I mean, you really don't have to pay for StreamYard. You can use it for free.
But if you want to use the fancy backgrounds and edit the background and get rid of the
yeah,
part,
obviously.
yeah. Right. So, Carlton, welcome back. Did you get yourself? That looks like a little Baileys and Coke, or a little Baileys.
No, it's actually just lemonade.
So yeah, you and Athena obviously know each other. You have had the crack, as we call it, before. We've sent the link out to other people if anyone wants to jump in. Sammy, you're always welcome. Where the fuck are you? Like, are you driving the car? He's probably driving. So other than your moving, were you doing anything today, Athena? Have you been in any arguments today? Screamed at anyone?
I mean, does my never mind. But no, not really. I haven't been into any screaming matches in a while because mainly what is the point? What is the point of what is the point of arguing with people who who don't really listen to you, who misinterpret you? I mean, yeah, okay. I guess you could say the point of arguing is just to sharpen your skills, which okay, fine, fair enough. But you know what I mean? Been focusing on the move and getting myself settled and getting the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
All good things.
I hate the fucking drama. Absolutely hate the drama. Quentin, I posted the link in Jay's new Discord, which he hasn't fucking set up right, so nobody can read when they leave and come back in
Yeah,
again.
I know.
Isn't that hilarious?
Yesterday.
Fuck's sake. But anyway, Quentin said that he was, he says, I'll be there bringing the cocaine. So I don't know, Quentin could come in. He usually brings fucking drama, but I hate drama. Fucking can't stand it. There's no point in it. It just winds people up, and I think it's better to get to be friends with people. Which, in saying that, I think Wujita has called me out whenever I was trying to stay on the fence with the whole knock situation. Called me out for being too nice to them, but I'm not going to be a deliberate asshole to people when I don't need to be an asshole to people.
What's the Knox situation? I'm not familiar with that.
Ah, well, there was the whole thing about his server, man, ages ago.
Oh, okay.
That whole thing that went on for a wee while, and yeah, but let's not. That's an off-stream topic, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Trying to maintain my on the fence status here, and you're going to make me say some not nice things. Don't do that. Oh, but no, it's I don't know. Situations appear. Sometimes I look at it as one big social experiment. It's nice to throw a wee, I would say, advice / manipulation. Oh, speaking of drama, and Lucy appears. It's a social experiment. You sit back and you watch, especially someone who would be our age. You know, I'm not sure in your age, Athena. I may have forgotten. You're mid-30s, over 30? No? Gone. Yeah, I've been through all the stuff. I've sort of been there, seen that, worn the t-shirt. You sort of sit back and you watch and you're like, are they going to take this route or are they going to take that route? That route's problematic. That route would be better. You know, and not that you would try and manipulate or anyone, but it's a social experiment. Discord sometimes, sitting back and lurking, Discord gives you the ability to lurk, obviously. You can sit and watch other people's conversations. You can see what they're going on and obviously gain your own opinion from the way they speak, the reactions they have, the words that they use, and it's a social experiment. It's just what I keep coming back to, you know, being able to sit there and watch that. You can't do that on Facebook. You know, it just scrolls, and Twitter's just a fucking shitstorm where everybody's fake and only there for the rouse. Connectivity and rouse. That's all Twitter's about. I think Discord's very good. It gives people the ability to control who you talk to because you have your own server, your own sweet corner that you can go to, you know, that you have your own group of friends that, and even then on top of that you've got direct messaging, so it's like got sort of the best of both worlds and the ability to sit back and lurk and stir and watch it all unfold. But I don't know, maybe that's the scientist in me, I like to do experiments. It's like people watching to the extreme. I don't like watching people. You know, the girlfriend when we were on holiday, she could sit and watch people for days. I couldn't do that because I'm sitting still. I don't like to be, you know, just doing the one thing, sitting staring at people. When I'm lurking on Discord, the reason I'm lurking is because I'm at work or because I'm doing something to the house or I'm walking the dog. It's my secondary, you know, it's always an addition on to something else that I'm doing.
Right.
I feel like if I'm not doing two things at once, I'm not utilising my time correctly. I even wired the fucking phone into the car so I can listen to streams when I'm driving the fucking car. Like, you know, I like to, but that's what I'm saying. It gives you that ability. Some people take things too fucking serious.
Oh, yeah.
YouTube is not real life.
It is not.
I'm aiming all these little digs at Lucy. If she's not picking them up, it's not subtle enough. Lucy, this is all about you, okay?
Well, we all know I'm always doing two things.
Can you turn your gain down
Usually
a wee
dropping
bit?
a filing. Yeah, how's that?
That's better, man. That's better. Lucy, I think, is funny. Lucy went on stream earlier today and was like, whenever you go live, you know, always make sure that none of your friends are going to go live or they're not live at the same time because it's just not really YouTube etiquette. And every fucking Tuesday night she goes live just before I go live. Every fucking Tuesday without fail. She did it again the night too, like. And I was an hour late the night and she still waited till like 15 minutes before I went live and then went live. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Right, okay. You know I love you, Lucy. You know I love you. I only give her shit because I know she can take it. That's what I was going to say, what I have with Lucy I'd like to share with everyone else. But the sort of relationship where you can give someone shit. Like I could tell Lucy to go fuck herself and she'd disappear from the chat and not talk to me for 2 days probably just to get back at me. I know that she doesn't actually mean it, but she's just being bitchy because she can get away with it, you know. She was the one earlier that I was discussing threatened to set fire to the burn the box.
Ooh.
That's that Lucy. Did the whole fake thing for the drama to prove that drama brings in clicks and views and all the rest of it with the whole fake threatening of a teddy bear. Athena's very quiet tonight. It's not like her.
Yeah. Might have stepped away.
Nerdy. Come on, jump in, Nerdy. Bring the pickle on screen. Have you seen or heard of Nerdy Rodent? Lucy, you're welcome to come in as well, Lucy. We're not doing any religious shit tonight. We're just sitting having the crack. Lucy doesn't do the religious thing. She's from a different fucking YouTube. She doesn't have anything to do with this. Because she says it's stupid and a waste of time. And we're all fucking weirdos. Which we all are. And someone could say that verbal diarrhea is a waste of time, but Lucy, I'll twat you the link. Hold on. She has threatened something one time. She threatened me the other day to jump into one of my streams and just take over and get rid of all the religious stuff and just make it fun. So I'll fucking call her out on that. I'll hold her to that now. Hold on. I totally fucking posted the link in the wrong fucking place. Did you ever put it in the wrong hole? That ever happened? No. We're not even monetized yet, man, so don't worry. There's no monetization going on here. What is your wife doing tonight, if you don't mind, while you're sitting here? Does she have a thing she's doing, or?
No, she's just sitting in there on Twitter. Yeah, not really doing anything.
Or she's part of the Twitterverse. Is she one of the...
Yeah.
Does she fight, or does she use it for connectivity and talking to people?
She actually uses it for connectivity and talking to people.
Yeah. She doesn't fight. I mean, what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to chat up your wife here. My woman has nothing to do with this whatsoever. She thinks, as I say, is weird, it's fucked up and all. Does your woman... I know she encouraged you to do this, but as a good woman would, backing up her man, that's relative to whether she has an interest in it or not. The fact that she knows that you have encourages you to do it. Does she have an interest in this sort of thing at all? Or does she just like the video production and helping out with that? Is that her interest? Or does she just love you because she's a great wife?
Well, I think it's all of those things. I don't think no, months ago she's talked about maybe possibly doing videos, but I think she's just doing her own thing on Twitter.
Yeah, my woman's on Facebook. That's it. No Twitter, no nothing. And saying that, I've only recently joined Twitter, but no, she doesn't do anything like that. And she's on WhatsApp. Have you heard of WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a couple of WhatsApp groups. You know, she's got like her family WhatsApp group and her friend WhatsApp groups. But I think the WhatsApp groups notify far too much and move too quick with too many. They ding, 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 ding in your phone all the fucking live long day.
Yeah. Whew.
Lucy, are you going to come up or not? Are you all shy? Give me 1 second. You're going to have to entertain the crowd because my dog's sitting at the kitchen door looking to get out and he's staring at me with the evil eye. So I shall be back in 2 seconds and you will have to entertain the crowd, my man. Sammy or someone can jump in. Somebody fucking talk to him for 2 minutes.
Yeah. Anybody got anything to say? I'm on the spot here. Oh boy. Oh no. Oh, I'm not looking at the chat either. Oh. Actually, I think I saw Carlton's web. Oh, yeah, Tony. Yeah, my wife was on Raging's. Oh, it was a video about LGBTQ and Muslims. That's that actual video on Raging's channel. Yeah, that was my wife. That was her.
She was something to do. She was going to do something with Miss Sassy as well. Was that your wife that was going to do something with Miss Sassy as well?
Mm-hmm.
She has different beliefs, obviously.
Yeah.
You came from obviously Christianity. Was it? Look, Lucy, do you see what's happening? If you don't jump in, come on the fuck. Yeah. What denomination were you? Protestant, Catholic, Baptist, or Catholic, or whatever the.
So we were Baptist, then I think it was mostly Baptist, and then I was non-denominational in high school, and then atheist after that. But yeah, it was mostly Baptist and non-denominational.
Yeah, I can make correlations between my story and yours. Obviously, when you do come to that stage, there is an awful lot of anger that follows it.
Yeah.
The thunder and the lightning and... Yeah, I went full goth, man. I went the white makeup, the black lips, the black nails, still have my long coat. I went full goth, like writing my memoirs in a little book I carried around with me, you know, what would be now an emo thing. Listening to Slayer, God Hates Us All. What music do you listen to, man? Obviously, you've a lot of guitars around you, so I'm hoping it's not fucking Boyzone.
I listen to all kinds. Mostly, yeah, I listen to all kinds. The only thing I don't really listen to is country. So.
Yeah, some country's alright. My mother was a big country fan growing up. She was a big Reba McEntire and Garth Brooks fan. And just to see if I could one time, I sat down and learnt all the words to Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up, so I can sing that at speed. You know, the really fast one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know all the words to that, which is a shame. But yeah, no, I wouldn't be a fan of country. I would personally be more of a meddler myself. I am not posting any pics on Discord, Tony, of me as a goth, because there is only actually one. Nobody carried smartphones around in their pockets in their 90s. It just wasn't there, like. And disposable cameras, no. I can't think of any pictures. Like, do you have pictures of you from all your years as you were growing up, man? Or do you have gaps in it, or?
Yeah, gaps. A lot of gaps.
Yeah, because back in the day when cameras were a thing rather than just being able to carry one around in your pocket. If Lucy leaves, Lucy, I'm unsubscribing to your channel. Unsubscribe. Everybody unsubscribe to Lucy the bitch. Right. Sorry, go on ahead. No. Nobody was carrying photograph or cameras around in their pockets. And you would only really go and get a camera if you were going to a concert or if you were going on holiday. And there would probably, in our house, we had a family camera, so to speak, that was half decent. And if anyone went on holiday or going somewhere, we would buy the film in the little tiny, you know what you would get now, your weed in America, and then we small round tubes, you buy your film in that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, like technology is insane now compared to what we had.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, when I was a kid, people who had cameras, like, you know, the flash cameras or video cameras, I always thought they were rich.
I have a memory from a younger age where my dad was big into his technology. You know, he liked to have his gadgets. My actual dad, not my biological dad before him and my mum split up. And I have a memory of him standing outside the car with do you know the suitcase mobile phone things that had the cord going up to their ear? Like, I'm talking, I can't remember the year, man. Look them up. They must be late 80s or early 90s or something. But I have a memory of that, my dad having one of them. So, and we were definitely not rich. He just liked his fucking gadgets. But
wow.
Now you look at a phone and, Jesus, look at what we're doing here.
Yeah. Jeez.
I always find it funny to look at the comparison between what used to be 6 megabyte storage when computers first came out and what now you can carry about as a terabyte in your pocket.
Absolutely. Or how much faster it is to connect to the internet versus the dial-up. Jeez.
Oh, the dial-up noise. My first computer was a Commodore Amiga. We used to put the tape in the deck, set it to load, go down the stairs, make a sandwich, eat the sandwich, have a glass of milk with a cookie, and then go back up and the damn thing mightn't even been loaded then. But Paperboy was fantastic. And Road Rash. Do you remember Road Rash? No? You're on a motorbike and you knock people off with chains?
Yeah. I do remember. I played that on the Nintendo 64.
Yeah. It was a great game. Like.
Yeah.
I did try. I've got one stream up on the channel. I do a wee bit of gaming. I don't generally game and only have started since I got this computer. I have an Xbox 360 there. I haven't fucking turned on for like a year and a half. But I like old-fashioned games. I downloaded Abe's Odyssey. Do you remember Abe's Odyssey from the PlayStation 1? The little alien thing that went around farting and squeaking.
Oh, I've never played that game.
Abe's Odyssey, it was called, and the second one I think was called Oddworld. It was on the PS1.
Yeah, I remember Oddworld.
Yeah, the wee green fella that walked around and they were making slaughter burgers and stuff. Yeah, I've got a stream where I played one of that, but I'm not doing it again until I get a controller. I was doing it on the keyboard, and because you're using an emulator and on the keyboard, and it got too confusing, far too confusing. So I'll wait till I get a control pad. And I did try playing. I think you know it in America as the Manic Mansion.
Yeah.
We know it as Day of the Tentacle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That in this last couple of years has been remastered into 1080, so you can play the exact game but in HD. So I
Wow.
downloaded that and tried to play a wee bit of that as well. But yeah, no, I like old games. Oh, I don't know. Does that make me old? Am I old?
I like some old games too.
I was gonna do for crack some night. Get people on, and I'm still trying to see if I can get this and do it without the copyright and all that crack. But did you hear of the game when we were younger that would have been the close to interactive that we could do now, called Atmosphere? And it was a video board game where you actually put a video in the video player, like a VHS type thing, and it played on the TV, and you had a board game, and as it played along, it gave you instructions, and you did what the instructions told you to do. Now, it was fun the first 3 or 4 times you would play it, but once you learn the fucking video, you can obviously then manipulate the game.
Right.
Yeah, but they then come out with Atmosphere 2 and Atmosphere 3 and 4 and 5 and all the rest of it, so you could get them every Christmas or every birthday or whatever. But I was thinking of doing something like that some night for a bit of fun, because it does get quite creepy towards the end. You know, we didn't have as much health and safety and worrying about kids back when we were fucking kids. Like, so I think it's Atmosphere 2 where it's a zombie and he's wearing like a wee cowboy hat and all. And as the video progresses, they do get scarier. The Gatekeeper, I think, was the first one, and it's just a guy with a hood on, looks normal, but towards the end, he nearly looks like death. And the same with the zombie. The zombie starts off looking okay, but as the video progresses, his skin starts to peel off, and he starts to get more and more gory. And then there's a whole Banshee style one as well. You know, I loved them as kids. I don't think, does anyone else remember Atmosphere 1, 2, or 3? But yeah, I wouldn't. It would scare kids now. Kids are very soft now.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I've heard of those types of games, but I never actually played them.
well, that was years ago, man. So as I say, it was definitely the 90s. They're fucking nerdy in the damn chats calling me Mouthpig because I talk. Yeah, because I talk so much. I'm Mouthpig. Yeah. Nerdy, as I say earlier, whenever he comes on streams, Nerdy doesn't show his face at all. I know I flash it every now and again, but Nerdy doesn't show his face at all. Nerdy has an avatar that at some way is attached to his face and movements, and it's a dancing pickle in what looks like a sea of piss. It's that yellow piss color background, and it's a dancing pickle that opens its mouth and talks when he talks and stuff. And Nerdy, I don't know if he puts it on. I don't think he can put it on, but he sounds like he should work for the BBC announcement. He is very British, very, like, he does high tea and, you know, what do you call them, fucking cucumber sandwiches. That's the way his voice comes across. You know, that posh BBC voice. Yeah. Yes, the Crypt Keeper. Tony remembers. Jesus, Tony's fucking way older than me. Is that how old I am? No offense, Tony. Nerdy, come on in and show us all your pissy pickle. I feel like I'm scribbling out here. Sammy's went quiet. Athena's went quiet.
Yeah.
Sammy does have intermittent signal. At this time of the day, he's probably driving his car from one destination for work to the next destination for work, so sometimes he loses signal.
I
obviously.
shall be very shortly.
There you go. Welcome back, Sammy.
Hello.
Hello. You're at work, yeah?
Very shortly will be, yes.
Sammy is an awful good lad. He does something very similar to my woman, looking after people with needs. Isn't that right, Sammy? Yes?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Love it.
Another good person.
Oh, Athena left.
We're probably not dramatic enough. I do like Athena. Always good chats on their channels, like. So everybody's went really quiet. Don't make me talk to myself. This is why I bring other people on. Hold on, I check the settings. Are the settings not working? Can nobody hear us? Is there people out there? Do you know we've got 9 people watching now, and I think we topped out at 7, and there's nobody talking. We've more people waiting to see what we say next than we did actually talking about things. Tony got a new mic. We should get Tony and test him out.
I've actually never heard Tony speak.
I think Tony only recently came on to the VC on someone else's Discord, and I think he said he scared the fuck out of them when they came out because they'd never heard him either, and it's some sort of a deep voice or whatever. But no, he got a new computer. He's hopefully going to be jumping his wee head in, or his voice in. Welcome, Wildheart. You have seen Wildheart666 in the chats?
Yeah, I have.
Same as myself, I would consider a Wildheart a troll with a brain. I don't use that in a derogatory way. You know, it's better to be a troll in a brain than just a troll.
Yeah.
I'm outraged about you being wrong. What was I wrong on, Critical? I fucked up. Well, it seems like it's very quiet. You know, I wouldn't want to keep you. And, yeah, everybody's quiet. I ain't going to fucking talk to myself. You know, tell us a story, man. Tell us it was story time with Mathpig and Carlton. I've told loads of stories. Give us a snippet from, let me think. Did you say you were angry whenever you left religion? How did you, like, did you punch walls? Did you go to the pub, get drunk and argue with people over Christianity? Did you, for one stage I actually went with my girlfriend afterwards. As a goth, I went with her to her evangelist church in a hotel room rather than, you know, it wasn't in a church or anything. And I would go up to the minister or the pastor or whatever you called him and ask him questions afterwards. Like, I deliberately went out of my way to be an asshole, so to speak. Did you do something similar, or did you just bottle it all up inside?
Well, yeah, I did stuff similar. So I had a friend who I went to high school with, and we didn't go to the same college, but we actually made an effort to meet like every Friday to go see a movie and to have pizza or just have dinner. And every time I would just bring up stuff about Christianity, like, oh, you know, Christianity is shit because of this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, no, Carlton, I mean, it's not that way. I'm like, yes, it is, and it's this. And I would go on like Facebook, and I would go to my family and go like, you know, religion is so bad and blah, 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 and this and this and this. And it just finally took one of my friends to say, hey, you're being an asshole. It's okay. Believe. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
You see, being in the USA relative to the UK, I would say if you could just reach into the USA and grab a random broad brush Christian, and you would reach into the UK or where I'm in Northern Ireland and randomly, shut up, you were just out, lie down. And randomly, he fucking was just out, he's not getting out again. Randomly grabbed a Christian from here, it would be a lot more fundamentalist, a lot more evangelical, if we can just use them terms. You know, it would be a lot more, they would believe a lot more literal than the Bible than we would have over here. Like
Right.
my girlfriend will tell you she's a Catholic. She ain't no Catholic, she's a cultural Catholic. She just won't admit it yet. She just likes having the parties and likes having the in the gatherings, and, you know, she does it out of culture. She doesn't realise it. I've had the conversation with her over Hercules and over Zeus, and she agrees with all the points. And then you say, tell her, right, replace that word with God. And it's like, no, that's different. And you ask her to back it up, and she's like, I'm going to bed now. Right, okay. You know, she's admitted that when we christened the child, her family, she lives in Londonderry, and her family lives down near Carlow in the south, which is nearly 4 hours away from her. And, you know, if you have a christening for a newborn baby, all the family's going to come up, you know. So there's like 50 of her family arrives that she hasn't seen since the last person died or got married. You know? So she has admitted that she does it for that. But that's the point I'm making. That when you were arguing with that person, was that person a fundamentalist? Would they, not a fundamentalist, but, you know, the Baptists are quite strong believing. Would I be right in saying that? Like they,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah. I think he was okay. So we went to the same high school. So, like I said before, when I was in high school, I was more non-denominational. So he was essentially non-denominational, but I guess he had a mix of also taking certain parts of the Bible literally.
mm,
So it's very picky and choosy as to which parts were literal and which parts were figurative.
as in what
Um,
fitted their narrative, what fitted their situation.
exactly
So it's
right.
not that they picked and choose. Well, it is that they picked and choose from the Bible. It was that they made up their own religion and then picked
Hmm.
from the Bible to make it suit their religion. Now, not to say that my
Exactly.
mother would do that. My mother's not a Bible reading person. We were Presbyterian, if that means anything. I don't know. There's lots of different Protestant denominations over here. We've Church of Ireland, we've Presbyterian, we've got fucking Free Presbyterians, which are basically bigots, only Presbyterians.
Mhm.
And, we don't really have Baptists. And then we've just got Roman Catholics then on top of that as well.
Right.
But, Presbyterians is basically you're all going to hell. That's basically what they did. Within a couple of years, my grandfather died on my mother's side, my father's side, and then my grandmother died on my father's side, within a couple of years of each other. And after the sermon that was done for my grandfather, it was like 15 minutes on him and 45 minutes everybody's going to hell. That's
jeez.
basically what it was, And then whenever they had the granny one, they actually made the point of going up because it was the same guy, and they actually says to him, look, if you did what you did for my dad or my granda, don't be fucking doing that. And so he spent a good half an hour, 40 minutes, got people up, and we did more of a thing about her actual life and who they are and remembrance that way,
Yeah.
And obviously I went and I carried the coffin, and when my wee girl was christened, I went to the actual chapel, and me being a Protestant, my girlfriend being a Catholic, so there's a whole mixed marriage shit going on there. My friend is actually in the Orange Order. He's actually also in the Black Order, which is the flute bands that we have over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that do the Protestant holiday thing. The Orange Men are, you've heard of the Orange Men over here, no? Yes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not Donald Trump Orange Man.
Right.
People that wear orange sashes, and then the more Protestant even than them, and the more religious even than them, are known as the Black Order. But the thing about it is that it's dying out. Both the Orange Men and the Black Order are both dying out because young people don't want to go and parade about being bigots anymore. It's just,
Right.
it's not a cool thing to do anymore. And his granda was in it, his dad
That's
was in
shocking.
it. Yeah, his granda was in it. His dad is in it. His brother was in it. So he sort of got dragged into it. And then we have a friend that we grew up with who still remained somewhat of a bigot. His father did get killed by the other side, so I can understand some of the bigotry that came from it, But then he invited him in because he was just going to these meetings with a lot of old men. And he was like, I know, such and such will be up for it. So he asked such and such to get in. So he then joined. And then such and such, I don't want to use his name, but he then was like, oh, man, because we're in the Orange now, we can join the Black in Newry. And Newry is it's my closest town, and I will not live in it for love nor money. They have named play parks for kids after actual IRA terrorists that have blown people up, and they've named the park after them because he's a pinnacle of community and stuff like that. And he went and joined the Black of that town. So it's like, find the most Catholic town you can locally. There's it there. Find the most Protestant organisation stuck in the middle. There's it there. I'm going to join that one. It's like really sticking it to them, if you get what I mean, Oh,
Wow.
they actually chipped in, man. Now, it's going back a few years. I don't know if they still have the same flag because I don't go past that housing estate anymore, but they bought a second-hand flag off an aircraft carrier, one of the Union Jacks off an aircraft carrier, for their flagpole in the middle of the garden in the housing estate where they live. It's like fucking 40 or 50 foot wide or long. They paint the curbs. They've all got their flags out. I did live there in that estate because nobody in our local area wanted to live in it, and there was a housing executive house that I could get. So for a period of time, I did live in that housing estate, and I'm not joking you. What you would refer to as not like the head Protestant, but the guy who was the most bigoted, he actually came down, and because I was number 2, which was the front row of the houses, which were all old people. The old people wanted nothing to do with the sectarianism that had taken over, but the main square was all very sectarian. And one of the old people died. I then moved into the house. The guy came down, bought a flagpole, bought a flag bracket, and bought me a flag and put it up in the front of the house, just so they could have a flag on the front row of the houses. And I was like, yeah, man, go for it. Go on the fuck. And I'll be honest, I did enjoy it when we were younger, and for the crack, when we came back one time from the 13th of July, every single one of us that was at it was stone drunk. We had been drinking from 10 in the morning. It was now 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We were drinking homemade patching. We were drinking Aftershock. Every one of us bought a flag and was using it like a cape. We were running around the fields, chasing the bands, thinking we were super prods. And when we came back to the house, we stuck all the flags in the front of the house. Stuck every flag up, every window. We had brush shafts hanging out of windows. Photographer for the Ulster Gazette drove up the main Armagh Road, seen it, stopped, and actually interviewed us and took pictures of the house, because it was like, well, I'm not saying my full name, but here's Mathpig enjoying the festivities on the 13th of July. And there's just this little tiny house with 1 bedroom and 2 windows at the front of it, no second story, with about 8 flags. And me sitting on the front step with a top hat that's about 1.5 feet tall with a Union Jack on it, drinking my alcohol from a mug that has a Union Jack on it. Oh.
Tell me you have that photo.
I do have that photo. It is buried away
Excellent.
somewhere, but I do have that photo. AR, welcome.
Yeah.
Hello, John, the messenger reveals. That's not doing that out of, but I just seen him in the chat. So hello, John, thanks for jumping in. Thanks, AR, for jumping in as well. We're talking about how much of a bigot I was in my young age. So.
Oh, fun. I probably talk about like my weird anti-feminist days of 2016. I was still supporting Bernie Sanders, so that was the thing.
Political.
Well, it's funny, Mathpig. I've heard you mention it a couple times now, but I was actually a bit of a goth in my day as well. The white makeup, black lips, black eyeliner.
Yeah, it has to be.
It sounds more
nails.
like fucking like Norwegian black metal to me.
Yeah, I was listening to Cradle of Filth.
Oh yeah, Danny Filth is
then.
fantastic, man. Cradle of Filth all the way. You gotta love some Cradle of Filth.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah. I have never stopped loving
Absolutely
Rammstein though. Rammstein is fantastic. I don't know.
They have a really good
Yeah, I do love it.
I'm trying to look for the picture of me in the goth outfit. Everybody went to their formal. We have a formal over here. You have a prom, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean by when I say prom? Well, everybody obviously wears their tuxedos and all the rest of it. I was like, no, fuck that. I'm going in full leather and I'm wearing my long coat and I'm slicking the hair back. Fuck the whole lot of you. That's the picture I have. I'm looking for it buried in here somewhere.
Yeah. At that point, I was actually a bit of a hippie, and I actually wore a tie-dyed button-up shirt.
AR, you are a wee bit low. Can you raise your gain a wee bit there, AR?
Actually, yeah, I will in a second. I have to
Oh, no, you sound a lot better
for
now.
a little bit.
Whatever you just
Yeah,
did.
I know. Bad timing. But yeah, I'll be right back. Sorry, guys.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm looking for... well, just as we were talking earlier, hold on, let me see. Carlton, we were talking earlier about... Let me see, can you see that?
Yeah.
That's literally the field beside me mum's. And that's her just sitting on the wall. That's how close we can get to the cows and the oh, hide my face! Hide my face! It's buried in here somewhere. It's a woeful picture. Is it done by date? It might be done by date. Oh God!
While you look for that, Carlton, I have to say, and it's something I've been thinking about lately, actually, is when I actually left my belief in religion. Oh, look at that. Matty.
Oh,
How
yeah.
adorable.
Oh, yeah. Oh. I also found one from the 80s where me and my mother with a perm is fighting over an inflatable hammer. Do you want to see that? My ma will kill me. Where do you see? How bad is
Yes.
my ma's perm?
Yeah, my mum rocked the perm.
Look at that there, mate.
and well after the time that she should have. Like, we're talking well into the late 90s.
Baby Mathpig with a little, what we call Bobo monkey.
Wow.
That thing was my granny's, and then it was my auntie's, and they kept that. They even super glued his jaw back on because it broke off, and then we had to sew his arm back on. That monkey's still alive. That monkey's like 40 years old now. Like,
Jeez.
oh, I think that's all the rest. I don't think there's any more embarrassing photos from me. Oh goodness, there's one there. Yeah, let's not. Oh, I look really bald in this, but my brother rocked the perm for a wee while as well.
Wow.
Look really bald. We're taking that sun. The light's hitting it the wrong way, and I look really bald. But yeah, I don't.
It's a trick of the light.
It's a trick of the light, man. Yeah, that's why I shaved my head. And we'll go for one last one embarrassment. There's me in me bee suit.
Oh, wow.
Make sure you don't get stung by the old bastard and bees. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So that was my life in picture form in the space of about 15 seconds. I don't think of any more embarrassing photos because everything else has now become the daughter. That's what happens when you become a daddy. Unfortunately, yeah. I am one of them assholes that go, "Hi, how are you? Have you seen the pictures of my daughter?" I swear to God, I fucking hated them when I was growing up. And it's like, yes, it looks like a baby. It looks like the same as every other baby. No, it doesn't. No, mine's beautiful. You know? Oh, I know it's fucking awful. Like, but oh.
Yeah, I left a 12-year gap between my kids so that my oldest can watch my youngest.
Oh, legalized slavery. My mum did that as well. It was good. I'm going to go work my second job. Cook your brother his dinner and make sure the fire's lit when I come home. Okay, mummy.
Yep.
Her metal did rock Wild Heart. I had long hair, but up until I think it was February this year for Valentine's Day, I bought my woman a haircutting kit. There you are. Feel free to shave my head. I offered it to a few people for charity, but they didn't take it. So, you seen the picture? I was fighting it for years, man. That picture was about 5 years before I shaved my head. Fuck's sake. But that picture was a trick of the light. The sun was directly above me. It was 12 o'clock, okay? It was directly above me. We were in the mountains. That's another mountain range that's quite close, Carlton, if you want to look up. That one's called the Mourne Mountains. Mourne. Now that's a beautiful mountain range, and you can go up there and go camping. There's lots of rivers, lots of walks. If you look up a place, it's in the Mourne Mountains. It's called Spelga Dam. There is a road. Do you know like them mountain roads that you see in Italy that are beautiful, that go up a wee bit, then left a wee bit, then right a wee bit, and they work their way up the side of a mountain? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've an Irish version of that, which was nowhere near as nice. But whenever we first got our licenses and we were driving rear-wheel drives, we would go there and diff up and down and round them roads. They were great for that. Very dangerous as well, but good fun. And Spelga Dam has a road down to Spelga Dam if you look at it, but it's one of them visual tricks. And when you take your handbrake off at the bottom of the hill, the car actually rolls up the hill.
Wow.
Well, that's how it feels. You know, it's one of them tricks on it, but it's one of them local things we all do when we're kids, you know. And then when you get older, you go there and diff. And the mountains are very close also to a place called Newcastle, which is a beach. So you would go up and do your wee diffing in the mountain, have your thing in the hill, and then drive an 15 mile or so over the mountain and then go spend the day on the beach.
Oh, okay.
And is that near where you live?
Well, no, it would be a wee bit of a drive from where I lived, but that was the whole point, man. You just got your license. You know, you would drive, whenever you first get your
Yeah.
license, you'll drive fucking 10 hours away from your house if you get to drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, how interesting. Because I'm right near Newcastle in Australia.
Ah, and then there's a Newcastle upon
And
Tyne in England as well.
yeah, which is where my mother's family's from, and my father is from Chateauneuf in France, which is Newcastle in France.
Ah.
Interestingly enough.
There was also a place where we used to go outside of a town called Armagh, and it's called Navan Fort. Do you know the old forts that they would have, and they're now basically mounds of grass and like a circular thing? Like an old school fort. You know what I'm talking about, Carlton? Yeah. Yeah, from back in the day. But right beside where Navan's Fort was, maybe a half a mile of a walk, there was an old decommissioned copper. I think it's copper quarry. Copper, when dissolved in water, goes that turquoisey colour, isn't it? Yeah. And it had filled up over the years. They'd used it in the Second World War to dump out army vehicles and stuff and all in as well. It was totally decommissioned. But there was a fence that had been knocked down between Navan's Fort, which was right beside it, and had a parking area and was a tourist attraction. And then if you walked up and jumped over the fence, you could get into this quarry. And we used to go down there and swim in the quarry and jump off and have barbecues down there. I think the biggest jump was upwards of 60 foot. I never did that myself because the higher the jump was, the further away it was from where you could actually swim out. You know, like when you jumped off the 60-foot one, it's not like there was a fucking ladder to climb out. You had to swim 3/4 of the damn quarry across to get back to where the area was to get out. But there was a wee small area, maybe only 50 or 60 foot at the start, right beside a wee area to climb in and out. And we used to go down with barbecues on a summer's day and sit and do that. And yeah, just have barbecues and jump into it. And it was the most beautifulest water, man. Tasted like shite. And if you swallowed too much of it, you felt sick. But just looking at it on an August afternoon at like 4 or 5 o'clock when the sun's high in the sky and a beautiful summer's day, it really was one of them beautiful, beautiful things. Like,
I can't believe you drank it.
well, you didn't drink it, but if you jumped off tall enough and you coughed and spluttered, you would swallow some of it.
Okay, I thought you were saying because it looked so beautiful.
No, we didn't drink and drive.
It.
We weren't that. No, we didn't drink and drive, man. No. Okay, we have got Skyout. Skyout, how are you?
Hello, how you guys doing tonight?
We've just been talking shite for close to 2 hours, getting to know Carlton and letting the audience know who he is, and what he's up to. What about yourself?
Good? Yeah, sounds good. Just kind of shooting the shit.
Shooting your shit. Well, we are monkeys. Monkeys do fling their poo, so. You've met Carlton before? Skyout, have you met Carlton before?
Have I met him? No, I have not.
No, definitely not. Definitely not in Knox. One of them open discussions or anything like that. You have never bumped into each other before.
Okay. I wasn't too sure what the topic of discussion was about.
Carlton, I think you mentioned that there was something like that. You did bump into her a wee bit, did you? No?
Yeah, we were in Nakasushi's, or Raging Atheist, one of his live streams. It was actually the one when we first met Drag and Sock Account.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the first time you and I met.
Oh, really? Okay. I apologize. I've talked to Dragons Sokka many times.
Terrible.
Yeah. So, it's always fun chatting with them.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
the reason I sent you the link, Skyout, is, I wanted to have a conversation with you and just sort of poke at a few things. And, you get a lot of shit in the community sometimes. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I think it's it's a part of the it's part of what happens when you're a Christian apologist. Is there's always going to be the other agnostic atheist side always wanting to prove their point against Christianity towards the theist, and the theist responds defensively and not offensively. I believe that Christians should respond in the loving care of Jesus Christ. So at the same time, if they don't want to believe, there's no reason to push them, at all. So I don't really like to push them. Somebody like Scholar Fiction, for example, he has a show where
I've never heard of Skylar. No, never heard of Skylar.
Oh, really?
No. Sorry, go on ahead. But you do know, man, I'm not taking sides, but if you start calling Skylar names, I'll shout you down about that. You can give an opinion. I don't mind an opinion.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Skylar, he knows I kind of talk shit about. We both talk shit about each other because I was just gonna say I wasn't gonna insult him or anything.
Oh yeah, you can say that you can make a statement like obviously he's aggressive in the way he comes across sometimes in his apologetics with theists. That's a fact. But if you say he's a asshole or something like that, that's not a fact.
No. No, we had various discussions on the Bible and about slavery. It was me and Dr. Josh. You can see that on my channel.
Yeah, well, I know them, right? And I can understand why they do what they do. What I've never directly talked to you, and don't run away, Carlton. You're my philosophy backup. Don't run away.
I'm not running away.
And I wanted to have a conversation with you because, to be desperately honest, man, I've watched some of the stuff you do, and I've seen you. I was there when you said same as yours. No, but the point I'm trying to make is, like, I have these conversations, and you've obviously, this is the first one. I wouldn't expect you to have watched any of this, but I've had Christian apologetics on, famous people like One Way Apologetics and things like that there. And I have a co-host show on a Thursday with Richard. Both of them were very respectful. I think I was respectful to them. I think saying that you have to come across as defensive and offensive to defend your opinion is wrong. Right. And you come across to me as a wee bit of a fucking troll sometimes, man. You know, you're not as bad as certain other people out there, but you do come across as a troll. And, why? Like, you're obviously on the internet to convert souls, to save people for Jesus, yes?
That's God's job. My job is to preach the gospel and let the Holy Spirit do His work. I don't.
Okay, so your job is to do that, but what is that obviously, it's not my job to...
It's the same thing.
Yeah, we can hear you. But say for talk's sake, it's not my job to sell encyclopedias. But if I knock on people's doors and I show them encyclopedias, I did not do that. It says device not connected. I did not do that.
But you just asked. It's your job to convince people or whatever, and
he just
and
left.
He said, no, that's God's job. My job is to preach. Isn't that the same thing?
That's what I was going to say. If you if you knock on everybody's door and talk to them about their encyclopedias, they're going to ask you how much is it to buy an encyclopedia. Hello, welcome back, man. Did you get the problem sorted?
Yeah, I just got cut out.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'll just finish what I was saying because I just said it for everybody else. I know that you're saying that your job isn't to go out and convert people. Your job is to, sorry to be derogatory, preach. But to make an analogy, if I knocked on 100 doors and told people all about my encyclopedias, I'd say 90 of them are going to ask me how much it is to buy them. I wasn't there to sell them. I was just there to tell them all about it.
Sure.
Do you see the thing I'm making? You see
but the person that you knock on, they don't have to listen to your information. They can walk away.
They can do that.
No one's forcing you. When a Christian comes to your doorstep, they're coming to you with the loving kindness of Jesus Christ. So they're not trying to force you if you don't want to talk to them or take their family. You can just say, get off my property. I'm an atheist.
Yeah, well, I could do that, but then I could also send you out a link and invite you into a conversation to give you a platform to put your point across. I could do that as well.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I wasn't exactly, this is the first time meeting you, so I wasn't too sure if your position is either atheist or agnostic or...
Oh, I'm a true agnostic. Ask Steve McRae. No, I'm only joking. No, well, I'm not an atheist. I'm happy to say that I don't know. I can definitely see with the Christian God, there's a lot of problems there, and if you try and force things in either direction, there is problems. I spent a wee while being deistic, universe, energy, that Akashic field sort of shit after my anti-theism, but now I've come to the point where I'm smart enough to know that I don't know, so I take the agnostic stance on that.
Okay. Can I respond to that?
Yeah, no, that was just me trying to give you a summary of my position, because I don't like using just one word without a description behind it, because if you put me in a pigeonhole, it just makes me easy to shoot.
I agree. Well, from the Christian perspective, since you brought up the universe and science for a moment, the Christian perspective is that the laws of physics, the laws of logic, and the laws of math, they exist in the material world, but they themselves are immaterial, and the only way they can be brought into existence is by a supernatural creator. So when the
Can you
agnostic...
No, just so I can interrupt there and just ask you as we
Sure.
go along. Maths and all the background and the laws of physics can only be brought into creation by a god. Why?
Because they independently exist, independently in the material world, but they exist not materially.
Can I just say something to you? Math and the laws of physics that we write down on a piece of paper is a description of what is actually happening. It's not that we created math, we found a way to describe what is going on. It is more so a descriptor of something that's happening than it is a word. Like I could just say, again, it's just popping into my head, but I could say green, orange, purple, banana. That thing doesn't exist, but I just made a descriptive word to say it. They're just words. And with maths, they're just numbers. We are using them to describe what's happening. I fucked up at the end there. Okay, I fucked up at the end. It was way better at the start. I should have shut up halfway through. Okay, this is the after party. I am drinking, okay? But that's the point I'm trying to make is, man, they're not a thing. You know, maths is a descriptor of something that's actually going on. Like, we have mathematical formulas for shit that we can't see, but we know that it will work because from using maths before, we know that using this type of math and plus and subtract, and we know that this works. So we then use that and apply that. It doesn't mean that we created it. It's just from the history of using it, we know it is right, but it's still just a descriptor of something that's happening out there.
Right. Well, they exist in our material world. Like, we can't see gravity, but they exist in our material world immaterially.
Well, we can see the effects of gravity. We can see the effects of gravity waves.
Sure, yeah.
We can describe gravity in both Newtonian and in... not Stephen Hawking. I did this the other night and messed it up. Einstein! See? Fucking dickhead. You know, two different types of gravity. We have two different ways of looking at it, two different styles of math. But then knowing what we know, if you type all the information for basic things into Einstein's and break it down, you end up with Newtonian. It's all one thing. It's not that we learnt Newtonian and it was wrong when we moved on to Einstein. It's an addition to everything. Again, it's just a descriptor. I don't know where you're going with the only. I'm seeing no proof of you saying why it has to be. I'm saying that this is the way the universe is, and we are describing it. You're telling me that these things can only come into existence because of a God. I'm giving you some sort of backup, some sort of citation, reasoning for why I believe the things that I believe. Can you do the same? Can you give me a reason why it's only God? Why it can only be God?
Because when you study the very laws of physics, you come to an absolute standard. And when you study the laws pertain to like the laws of gravity, laws of physics, biology, chemistry, it all is derives from a single point of a mind. And to the agnostics and the atheists, like Richard Dawkins, for example. So
No. Richard Dawkins and them people aren't here. You've got me. You're talking to me, and I give you my point. So don't straw man me and put me in a box like them other people. I was on a stream earlier, or on a Discord discussion earlier, and people here will back me up. I'm not a fan of Richard Dawkins. All right? The man should be going to biology fucking conferences, in my opinion, and not going to atheist conferences and things like that. I'm not a big fan of him. So you've heard my position. I've give you my position. So don't put me in a box with him.
What is up?
Hey AR, hey AR.
Earlier you said those things were descriptive, so I was going to respond to that.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, is in the house, I see.
Go on ahead. Sorry, go on ahead. I don't mean you. I will mute myself, and I will mute myself.
Earlier, those things are descriptive. Now, for the agnostic, they're basically governed by that principle of what is governed by what we call supported by observational evidence of what is being descriptive in reality. So, for the agnostic, all those beliefs must be, you were right, be supported by these descriptive observational evidence that we exist in reality. Now, these beliefs that contradict those descriptive observational evidence certainly cannot be tolerated. However, strong agnosticism does state that simply if God does not exist, even though through descriptive observational evidence, it indicates that the universe has a cause that cannot be detected descriptively or observationally. So despite the description and lack of observational evidence for what we call a naturalistic cause of the universe, the agnostic, the strong agnostic believes that the universe has a naturalistic cause, that there is no God, which contradicts the descriptive principle of observational evidence.
Okay, can I jump in now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will agree with the think that I would say that the universe has to have a cause. I will not just move the goalpost and the God of the gaps back a wee bit further. I will take, I think it was Carl Sagan that uses the term cosmos. Just because we are the only one universe doesn't mean that there's another universe out there. I think it's string theory that brings in 10 possible dimensions that's been brought down from 23. And you've got people out there who talk about membranes, colliding membranes as a cause. There's lots of theories out there.
There's several different hypotheses.
Exactly. Sorry, yes, not
theory.
theories. You're correct. I was using that colloquially. There's a lot of hypotheses out there about what the cause is. But all of them causes are based in the foundation of maths and physics and the actual sciences and what we know. We have a ground point. As I like to say in this channel, we stand on the shoulders of the people who came before us. All right, and that's the way science works. What you're doing is you're quoting the same thing as a man 2,000 years ago quoted and giving me no real different. You're just saying God did it. I'm sorry I'm sorry, but you just waffled on for a while, and at the end of it, you just came to the point. But God did it.
Right. Again, the agnostic have their
don't say, right? I've stated as I'm agnostic.
Ask
me if I agree with this point rather than saying the agnostic must believe this. Ask me. I've stated I'm agnostic. Don't tell me what paper says I should believe. If you have a statement to make, say instead of the agnostic believes this, go Mathpig, do you believe this?
Well, that's right. I'm an agnostic as well. And I'm sure I probably believe slightly differently to Mathpig.
Exactly.
And that goes back to agnosticism being subjective and not being an absolute standard in itself.
And does religion by denominations of nearly, 30,000 plus Christian denominations not mean that everybody is taking their own pick? Doing the exact same?
No.
Why not?
But if we can go back to the subject of science if you'd like to.
No, I'm continuing on with the conversation I'm going. I don't want to jump back onto a script. I'm continuing the conversation where it's going. You're saying that all agnostics are this, that, and the other, and it goes back to this sort of thing about agnostic where they can all have different views and different opinions, but that applies to Christianity as well.
Skyout and the rest of the apologetics, their biggest thing is straw manning and hasty generalizations on top of that. They treat atheism and agnosticism as a fucking monolith, as if all of them believe exactly the same thing, when that's entirely untrue.
Well, that's what we're trying to break
out
here.
There that are religious and believe in fucking like reincarnation or all that shit. The only caveat is they
Yeah.
don't believe in God or gods.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
what I'm
they
saying to
don't-
him.
they don't-
Rather than make a statement and says agnostic believes this, ask me. That you're on my channel, man. We want to have the conversation. So ask me questions instead of saying I must believe this.
Right. But the position of agnosticism again doesn't have.
No. The position of agnosticism is a piece of paper you're describing. I'm not asking you to read a piece of paper or repeat a script. I'm asking you to ask me questions to see what I believe. Ask you as AR just said, you're going to do this. Then I give you a chance not to, and then you did. This is why I asked you at the start, are you a troll? Are you going to do this? Like, do you have an actual point? Because you're just ignoring the statements that other people are making to you.
Have you seen his like background image in his videos? There's no way he's not a Poe.
No, let's not make derogatory terms. Let's ask him a question. I asked him if he was a Poe. Don't tell him he's a Poe. Give him the chance to make the statement. He fucked up himself once. If he fucks up again and he fucks up again, then he's telling us in between the lines he's a fucking troll. But we'll give him another opportunity. Don't make a statement. Ask questions. Go Skyout.
Okay, what is your reason that you don't believe in God?
The reason that I don't believe in God is because whenever I was younger, I was a Christian. This story is out there, and I think my own channel and Richard's channel as well. I lost my faith because I didn't get anything back except a sense of community from the church. I was in training to be a junior soldier with the Salvation Army. You can pick in that whatever way you want. People pick in all different fucking denominations. But I was there, man, 2-3 times on a Sunday, give it all my go, up until about 11. So I was young and manipulative and easy to fucking train, you know? And I give it all, and I didn't get anything back from it. My mother and father broke up. I went up and made a testimony in front of the whole church.
Right.
And I asked for some sort of support from God, some sort of, not a sign, just something to make me feel better, something to help me, something to let me get through this, because my dad and my ma had been breaking up. And I got support from the community. I didn't get anything from God. And over the course of a few years, I realized that and I left.
Well, thank you for your story.
Well, that was a shortened version. It does go on for a while, as I usually do. But right. What do you go on, back to you, sorry.
Yeah. There's been many people. I do speak in generalizations. I don't like to just put you in like pigeonhole you, like you said earlier. But what the Bible teaches is that we live in a fallen world, and we have wickedness and sin and unrighteousness, and we have lawlessness in our heart, and we have darkness.
I don't need the Bible to tell me that. With the exception of the darkness in the heart, I don't need the Bible to tell me the world is hard. I grew up in Northern Ireland in the fucking Troubles. I don't need to tell me the world is hard.
Well, I was just explaining from a Christian perspective that the pain and suffering that you go through and I go through and the whole world goes through is a reflection and manifestation of what Jesus Christ did on the cross. So those people
hold on. What we do and what we're about is a manifestation of what's on the cross. Are you just reading a piece of paper? No, I've shouted at Jim Majors here for just speak in normal terms. Don't go off on a rant, man. You're just going off on a rant. I want to just short, simple. We answers. If you don't know the topic well enough to explain it to a 5-year-old, you don't know it at all.
I respond as a Christian, so that's my position. So
No. What you're doing is you're reading a script to me, and just it turns into waffle. I want to hear your opinion, and not from a Christian point of view, from a Skyout point of view, from your point of view. Put it in simple words. You're having a conversation with me over a pool table. We ain't in a debate. This isn't Knox channel. This isn't Drag's channel. I want to have a conversation. You don't need to go to the script and defend your position because you made a claim and this, that, and the other. I just want you to talk to me, man. Tell me your opinion. You ask me a question. Continue the conversation.
Well, no, you said that you got help from the community and the church didn't help you and things like that. I said that many people don't get help from the church or don't get help from God and don't feel God's spirit because they don't acknowledge the fact that we live in a fallen world full of pain and suffering. So in that pain and suffering is a reflection of Christ on the cross.
Okay, right. I've acknowledged all the pain and suffering. Everything is going wrong. I told you my mother and father were breaking up. You know, there was plenty of pain and suffering that I've acknowledged in the world.
Right.
I just wanted the feeling of a
Yeah.
hug. That's all I wanted. Christians say that Jesus is about and God is about a personal relationship. I just wanted a hug. I just wanted someone to give me a hug and tell me that it's all going to be okay. That's it. And I didn't even get a fucking feather coming in through the window or finding a little scrap of a Bible under the bed. I got no signs, no signals, no nothing. I just wanted a hug.
And then
Mathpig, can I ask a question that I think might clarify that a little bit? So what did Jesus die for in a sentence?
what did Jesus die for in a sentence?
Yeah.
He died for sins of all mankind.
Sorry, I lost that. I was reading the chat.
Yeah.
What happened?
So he died for our sins, and that's why he suffered and died. So why are we suffering?
Because of your unbelief and wickedness and sin.
So why did Jesus die then?
For your wickedness and sin.
That we don't
But I
acknowledge.
thought that's why we're suffering now.
That's right.
So he died for nothing.
He died. No. If you consider nothing sin, then you're in trouble.
No, but I'm paying for the sin now by suffering. So what did Jesus pay for?
He died for your sins.
Then why am I still suffering for them?
Because you don't understand the sanctification and by faith and justice by faith and justification.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. Are you just reading the
You have to
script?
be-
or-
But you're suffering.
You can be sanctified if you're not suffering. You can be cleansed and sanctified and cleansed, no matter how dirty you are.
Oh, so we still suffer and everything still sucks, but we're clean.
So
You're
you,
What about
spiritually
devout
clean.
Christians that are
so you're suffering right
overseas,
now, Skyout.
even
and
here in
he's-
the United States?
So everybody in this room is suffering, and you're the only Christian. So what's the difference between us and you that gives you such amazing knowledge to know this? Like,
Well, I made a conscious choice not to suffer alone. You made a conscious choice to suffer alone spiritually.
well, there's also a
spiritually-
phrase for that as well. What is it? Fucking guilt likes company or something like that. Yeah, it's.
I don't know what that means.
No, I'm saying it wrong, but there is a phrase that is colloquially used over here where suffering likes company, and it's just because when you're feeling down, you bring other people in, and it spreads like a disease. You know,
Oh yeah.
suffering loves company. I think that's the phrase. I could be wrong.
I
on
mean,
that.
the other guy, I don't know his name. The other guy talking earlier. Jesus lived a righteous and perfect life, sinless.
Now, I
he
asked
was
you a
at-
question, man. I asked you a question. Don't go back to what
Right.
Jesus did. I said everybody in this room knows that we're suffering. Everybody in this room acknowledges the suffering, and I hope, but I expect that everybody in this room has been through some sort of suffering. But you are the only person that is clean, because you accept that God is real and we don't, and is that what it just boils down to?
No, not at all. In fact, my heart and your heart is the same. We are both wicked and we want to rebel against God. There's often days where I want to not believe and rebel against God through my own wickedness and sin.
But
which
the
I have
Sammy-
to struggle with.
Yeah, but Sammy pointed out, and what I'm asking you is, what did Jesus die for then? If Jesus died for our sins and our stop the suffering, and we're all suffering, and you're clean and we're not, what, like, as Sammy said,
Well, he said he's still suffering too.
Yeah,
So
that's what the
obviously
point.
There's...
what's the difference? You know, we're all suffering. That's what I'm saying. Everyone here is still
Yeah.
suffering, including the Christian. What makes you so
Okay.
fucking special, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I don't mind you asking.
I
was
do
gonna
swear
say-
a lot. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Misery
I was-
loves company. Sorry to interrupt. It's
Sure.
misery loves company. That's the phrase. Thank you very much, Crazy Catnip. Thank you for turning up tonight. I don't think I've seen you here before, but I appreciate the joining.
Skyout, if
Sure,
believing
yeah.
on Jesus is supposed to end your suffering, can you explain all the starving children across the world that devoutly believe in Jesus Christ?
AR, just to say, we're not going to do that because they're just as fucking annoying to me as the Christians are with their phrases. The suffering, the burritos from Skylar's channel, People using the same phrases about why is there genetic diseases.
Don't do what? I'm sorry.
No. That's fine, man. That's fine. No, it's 100%. You're allowed to throw your input
No, I'm
out
not
there.
understanding you.
Certain phrases that the atheist group uses as an attack against Christians, I hear over and over again. As I shout at him about using a script, obviously you're not using a script, I get that. But I do hear the same talking points from the atheist side over and over again. One of them is suffering from babies, Another one, you get what I'm saying. The same topics come up over and over again. I'm not shouting, I'm not being an asshole, I'm just saying, I'm pointing this out.
Yeah, I could understand how the repetition or something like that can be a little annoying, but let's be honest here. It's a really good point that nobody seems to be able to answer.
Yes, nobody seems to answer it, so let's ask it 50 times and watch them do circles and say the same things over and over again and just create the same content, the same conversation. I snapped at my ma last week because I hate repeating myself. I don't like...
All right. That's fair.
It's...
I'm with you, Mathpig.
Yeah. I hope you just get where I'm coming from, man. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I hope you just understand where I'm coming from. But just saying the same things over and over again, I find when I have a conversation with a Christian, this is one of the things that they come at me. It's not like I'm trying to create the perfect center for discussion, but I want to listen to both sides. And when I have conversations, not always on the channel, but in private with other Christians, I find that one of the main things that they come back with me is it's the same arguments over and over again. It's this, it's that, and the other. So I'm trying to take points from both sides to create the perfect debate center. If you shout at everybody equally, like South Park, man, if you're ignorant to everybody, then you're all right. You get what I mean? No? Hopefully.
I really like South Park up until like 2 weeks ago's episode.
I haven't watched the new series at all. But okay, we'll not diverge onto South Park. I think we can all agree that it's very good. But we interrupt Skyout. Skyout, ask me another question, right? Let's start a random topic, a random conversation. Just ask me a topic on something, a question on something. Just not continuing on. We'll totally tangent and start somewhere else. Go.
Okay, do you know the difference between physical suffering and spiritual suffering?
I understand the difference of it, yes. As in your soul will suffer later on and all that, but then you have to believe in a soul. I'm not still sure if I do or don't.
Okay, because you asked me earlier what was the difference between me suffering and you suffering.
Yes.
And I said that the difference is when we suffer spiritually. And since we are made and created in the image of God, we're made for him spiritually, so there's a spiritual handicap. So when you see someone physically in pain, that's a manifestation of the spiritual pain. When you see someone blind, for example, there's something called spiritual blindness.
So you can see my aura. Is that what you're trying to tell me? You can see that my aura is black, or you're listening to me, or you're assuming what I believe. Which are we going with here? Just so I understand how you know this, that I'm in spiritual problems.
No. I'm not saying you have a spiritual problem. I say I have one. The whole human beings have one. We all have a spiritual handicap. That when we have a spiritual blindness to rebel against God and to hate God, that's what the Bible says. You want to hate God and rebel.
Yeah, but again, man, I know, but I'm not saying that this is a loaded question or anything like that. But there's an assumption there that there is a spiritual side. This is all. If I start with the physicality of the world and we are here and it's all real, and say for talk's sake that.
There's also another problem with that. It assumes like we actually believe in like the Christian deity.
Well, the soul, we could be wrong in that, but the premise of that is the whole thing at the start is our spiritual disability. And regardless of who you believe in, whether it be fucking Muhammad or deism or anything like that, there's a soul. You're starting with a soul there. But if I say I don't believe in a soul.
Right. I would respond to if you're a Muslim, if you're a Hindu, if you are a Taoist, or if you're a different religion, then how come the Christian God? Well, the Christian God...
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that, man. I asked you, right, how do you know that I am, spiritually broken? Because I don't believe in a soul. I asked you, do you see my aura? Do you go by what you're putting me in a box? Or do you actually talk to me and figure it out? That's what I asked you. Don't go back to the script. Right. Just answer the question.
I'm answering the question according to what the Bible says. So you may object, which is okay.
No, I asked directly, which do you use to tell that I have a broken soul, that I'm spiritually broken? How do you tell? Like, this is the first time we've talked. If it helps at all, hold on. Maybe this will help. This is me. Can you see my aura?
I cannot.
You cannot see my aura. Right. So are you picking up that I'm fallen because I said I was agnostic, or are you picking up that I'm fallen from the conversation you're having with me? I'm asking you a question.
I'll even help you out, Skyout. Use the Romans verse. I know that's what you're trying to do here.
Oh, come on, AR. Let's not make digs at each other just for the sake of it. Let the man do it. Make a fool out of himself or prove his point. But this is what I'm trying to get, Go for it. Like, don't repeat to me something that's on a script, man. That's something that you're presupposing. You're just getting to the whole point that you are obviously a presuppositionist then, yes?
Well, there's more than just presupposition apologetics. There's evidential apologetics, classical apologetics. So I kind of go over the whole.
Can you just not read the fucking different types of the topics and the
I'm
chapter
not,
verses?
Man. I can
Pick
put myself
which one
on
are you?
camera.
Just tell me which one you are. I don't need to know the 50 you're not. Just tell me the one you are.
Well, there is no, they're all of them. I'm all of them.
You're all of them, and you're none of them, all at once. You're omni-Christian. You're omnipresent, or omni-fucking presuppositionist. Wonderful.
If I can't pick the one I am, then I'm just going to say I'm all of them.
So you're just going to pick and choose out of which ones and wee bits that you like that suits your position. The same as a fucking any other Christian out there that doesn't go half as deep into this, that just picks a verse that they like.
This is an in-house discussion between Christians, like within the context of the Bible, of what apologetics and methodology you're using, but it has nothing to do which one's wrong or right. This is an in-house discussion of, like, in boxing, for example, there's no, set parameter. Exactly, you're in a boxing ring, so you're going to have two hands. So, I mean, there's different ways to throw a hand, so there's not, you know what I mean?
But you're trying to put me in boxes. You're trying to put me in all these different boxes with your little words and your little script. You're putting me in boxes. And you're saying for me not to do it to you because it's an in-house discussion between Christians because of all their thousands of denominations. Sammy pointed out that he's agnostic and I'm agnostic. We have different views. Man, you're just giving me a script. I asked you a question. How do you pick and tell that I'm spiritually disabled? By looking at me, by talking to me, or by putting me in boxes? Pick one of them topics or say none of the above.
Okay, I won't call you spiritually disabled. I'll say I'm spiritually disabled.
I'm sorry, I know that word can be derogatory. I do apologize for using it. I don't mean anything against that.
But, no, it's okay. I'll say I'm spiritually disabled, and I'll explain it my point of view. I'm spiritually disabled because I'm a sinner.
Can we just use the word broken? Can we just use the word broken to keep everything a wee bit PC and all that?
Sorry. I'm sorry that's a harsh word, sinner.
I understand, and it slipped out and I said it first, but from now on we'll just use broken.
Tagging in that little derogatory sinner at the end.
Right, so you're spiritually broken. Go.
I'm spiritually broken. I'm spiritually handicapped. And
I just asked you to use broken and not disabled, and you went and used handicap. There was no reason for that, and there was no need for that. I just asked you to use broken. Just say spiritually broken. That's it. Small, simple.
He
gets a kick out of this.
I know he gets people make small remarks.
I'm trying to be polite, but I keep responding like a Christian, so it's kind of hard.
I know plenty of Christians that don't call people.
Christians are disableists, in general. Is that
yeah,
what you're
I know.
saying, Skyout?
That's a wide statement. Okay, we're going back on topic. Skyout gets too far away from a script, he gets lost. Right, Skyout, you were saying, go on ahead. You're spiritually broken. You're spiritually broken.
Okay. Spiritually broken persons. When you compare physical pain to spiritual pain, now let's say you don't believe in spiritual pain. Let's say you're agnostic about that. The whole world is under physical pain, and that physical pain goes back to the spiritual pain. That's fine. You don't believe in spiritual pain. That's fine. But for Christians, it goes back to the spiritual pain of what Jesus did on the cross. That's fine. You don't want to believe in Jesus on the cross? That's fine. But for Christians, that spiritual pain is a reflection and manifestation of what the blood of what he shed on Mount Calvary.
Well, personally, I think that some guy probably was crucified. I don't think that he was what you think he is. And then again, we're back into the assuming that he's a magic being. You know, there's
The Romans did crucify people, and they
Yeah,
kept
lots
meticulous
of people.
records of who they crucified as well, actually.
yeah, lots of people. They didn't ask the fucking Jews who they should crucify that, but you know, they just made the decision themselves. But you know, it did happen, man. I've no. You just assumed there straight away that I don't think that Jesus died on the cross. I'd say that a Jesus did die on a cross.
No, I didn't say you didn't know that he died on the cross. I said you may be agnostic on whether you believe that he died on the cross
Again,
spiritually.
Yeah, we're back to assuming, man. It all starts with me with an assumption. You know, you're assuming that he's magic. You're assuming that he is a deity. You're assuming that he's half human, half deity. Whatever you are assuming, I won't assume. Haha.
Yeah,
But
you assume not. You assume not. Yeah.
Another fun fact, they didn't really put people in tombs either. They had mass burial sites. That they
some
just
people
threw
did get
people
put in tombs, though, if they had enough money. But usually not criminals. Criminals as
Actually, I have the website. You can actually go to the tomb of Jesus
Oh God!
Christ.
You know where the tomb of Jesus Christ is. I got a guy that came into work the other day and was handing
I'm
out
serious.
leaflets, and he
This
was
is
there
like-
as well. He
You
was
can
there as
actually
well.
Go inside.
Can
you
you
go
turn
inside.
critical? I think liked
Yeah.
the picture. I posted it on Twitter. Critical, you know what I'm talking about. This guy actually found the tomb. You're the second person. Damn, that makes it real. That's confirmation. That's two people that's been to the tomb. Oh, fun fact as well. Most of the crosses didn't look like the cross. They were generally axe shaped. But
Oh God.
yeah.
Right.
Carlton, no, I just want to be quiet for a wee second. We have been going now for an hour and a half. Carlton, in the background, who is our guest of honour, has been quietly listening, and I see a little pen scribble every now and again. So I am sure that this man has a few opinions or a few questions. So I'm going to open the floor up to Carlton, because it is his stream, you know, it is his after party. Carlton, have you anything to add, ask, or tell me I'm wrong on?
Well, Skyout just said that he has a link or whatever to where we can see Jesus' tomb. Can you provide
There's a
that,
link to
please?
one of like the 3 different Ark of the Covenants as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I
it
can
where the
provide.
Ark is buried?
I'll give you the direct link. You can see it.
Yeah,
very easily.
please. Because I really want to see that. Because you'd be the first person to find Jesus' tomb.
Oh
That's
no,
really
second man,
interesting.
second. This guy was in
Oh,
work.
second. There you
Second,
go.
yeah, this guy was at work. I even, as I say, I tweeted it out, and people seen it. It was this guy has been to the tomb, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. He even left his email and his number and all. Like, he's local to where I work. It's shocking. Like,
Wow.
face-to-face interview with the first man to ever find the tomb of Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
Oh, so
Well, he's
while
just
he's
a,
waiting
like,
for
a
that
third-hand
card,
account.
while he's searching Google Scholar for the link, can you do you have any other opinions or questions or statements you'd like to make on what has been happening, Carlton?
Well, you've been pointing out, rightfully so, a lot of the things that he was doing, which was just assuming a lot of your position. Oh, he provided the link. There we go. He was assuming your position instead of actually just asking you questions and talking to you. But one of the big things that he said early on, which I was like, wait, what? And I was talking to my wife about it because she's even like, wait, what? Was when laws of
It's
physics.
hard. It's hard not to have that reaction with people like Skyout or fucking.
Now come on, now you're just doing the wee digs as well. Carlton, the floor is yours. Everybody quiet but Carlton.
Yeah, one thing he said was laws of physics prove an absolute standard. What, can you provide me a specific law of physics that proves an absolute standard?
I love the way you went standard.
Well, I guess I won't speak in generalizations. Well, for the Christian, an absolute standard would be like the laws of physics, like light. Light is both a wave and particle in science. So when you take light, it's both a wave and particle. So it's an absolute. It doesn't change, just like God does not change. So it's an absolute standard. So when you take something like the laws of physics,
Sorry, I looked at the chat for a minute. Can you start back there again? Did you say waves? Go on ahead there. Start again a wee second, please.
I was gonna say, like when you take the laws of physics, let's say something simple like gravity, it does not change. Gravity is absolute.
Gravity
It
is not
comes
simple,
apart.
man. Gravity is not simple. Gravity's the only thing we haven't even figured out yet. Like it's.
No, it doesn't change. Gravity
It does
stays
change.
Gravity. absolute.
Gravity
It's
does
absolute.
change, man. GPS on your phone. Check out the GPS satellites that fucking reset themselves.
No, that's gravity acting with the laws, the parameters of gravity. The gravity.
That's
itself,
gravity acting with the laws and parameters of gravity.
Yes.
Gravity is acting to the laws and parameter of gravity.
Of gravity. Wow.
Of gravity in itself, yeah, because gravity.
Okay, so you just said that 3 times. So just to say for talk's sake, that wall in the background is behind Carlton is applied to the laws of the wall.
It's like you have to take it for the atheist. It's a naturalistic.
Hold on, for the atheist.
So
No.
like
Ask me. Don't say for the atheist. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're saying that the laws of gravity works to in tangent with the laws of gravity. You're just going around in a circle, man. That's a circular statement. It really is.
Yeah. It's a circular statement because it's an absolute standard. It doesn't change. It goes circle. Gravity is gravity within the parameters of gravity in itself.
So God is God is God is God is God is God is God.
Why not? Yeah, God.
Yeah, why
God,
not? Yeah, why not, man? A carrot is a carrot is a carrot is a carrot is a carrot.
Right.
You're not making any sense. Just when you go round in circles, you just make no sense, man. It's making no sense. Gravity.
What if you're near Peru? Do they still call it a carrot?
No, what I'm saying is like there's an absolute standard according to the laws of physics, and within the laws of gravity and physics and chemistry and biology, there is a parameters within those that are they use in reality, which is we call they're material, and they work in the material reality, but they themselves are immaterial.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! And oh my goodness! I do apologize.
To a God. And why the Christian God? Because science proves the Christian God.
Whoa! Whoa! No, again, you're just making more assumptions. You're reading a script, man, that I've heard you say. I'm gonna put a challenge out. Challenge for Nerdy Rodent. Challenge for Nerdy Rodent in the chat. Nerdy is good at time stamping and videos and stuff. Can you do a video of Skyout from like 6 months ago and then a video from tonight and get them to like match up with the exact same words that he's saying? You know, like people do with Kent Hovind and Ken Ham, using the same script over and over again. Somebody please do that. Man, you're not having a conversation. You're making statements.
I'll give you $100 if you can find it, because it's not scripted right now. So
actually, I subscribe to the doctrine of Theresen. The ancient god Theresen actually was the one that started the Big Bang universe. He set everything in motion so that
just to
us
say
humans could
Skyout
exist the way we did. He put everything in place, and you can't refute that because
okay. Just to say something, Skyout, right? You said that I will not ever find that scripted anywhere. Unless I break into your fucking house and see what you've been writing down on your own little notepad, it is possible for you to combine a few things and make your own. Now, me and AR both jumped in there. No, me and AR both jumped in because we are passionate. We're so passionate about this. Carlton only got one fucking word in, and then we jumped on top of him. So Carlton,
I can't not.
I know it's hard. It's hard. We're both trying, man. We're both trying. Where's Richard? We need to get Richard in here. He's a great moderator. Carlton, back to you. You written more than one thing down.
Oh yeah. I'm still waiting for that absolute standard. He just keeps saying it.
Yeah, I know. You're not going to get it. That's why we're moving on.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it. Moving on. Question number 2 from Carlton. Go on ahead.
Okay.
I already gave you an equally plausible
AR, shush, shush.
Okay. I won't preach the doctrine of Theresen, alright? I'll save that for my religious streams and my Theresen Minecraft server. Okay?
Yeah. Right, Carlton had a second thing. What was it, Carlton?
The link that Skyout provided for Jesus' supposed tomb. I mean, it even says on there, the Garden Tomb is considered one of the possible sites of Jesus' burial and resurrection. But if you go to the actual place for, I don't know what that sound is. If you go to the actual place for the Garden Tomb, they aren't sure. They don't even say that it is actually Jesus' tomb. They just say,
that.
Yeah.
His source refutes his own point.
Yeah, one of the paragraphs on his okay, I'll read 2 of them. It says, for over 120 years, the Garden Tomb has shared the story of the Messiah's crucifixion and resurrection with countless visitors from across the globe. Some believe that this garden is the setting of those gospel events. However, the question as to whether this is the same tomb in which the Messiah was buried is ultimately unimportant. What is important is that the visitors to this garden have an encounter with the living Messiah today. This is our prayer and ministry. So it's essentially just a Christian ministry of in Jerusalem that they believe.
They have more than one tomb there. They just don't know which one was Jesus's. So they just picked a random tomb and called it Jesus because there's like 100 tombs. But good enough.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
That's a problem.
It's not good enough.
Do you not realize the fact that if there's hundreds of possibilities, like that
right.
refutes?
Yeah. Okay.
Tomb?
Right. Okay. Let's.
I'm satisfied with you.
That's okay. You're satisfied, man, and you've put your evidence forward for the audience, and let the audience decide. So, I'm not sure if we're going to sway anybody in that, and we possibly have some Christians in the fucking crowd. Carlton, have you another point? Because we've just been ranting, man. You've been sitting back watching this social experiment, okay? So it's your turn. Go on ahead.
Yeah. You mentioned that Jesus died for all of mankind's sins. And I think it's Sammy, what's his name, asked you a series of questions in regards to that, and you didn't seem to understand what Sammy was getting at, which was funny.
I think he was confused on the sanctification process of being a Christian because he kept going on with, oh, Jesus died for nothing, but he doesn't understand that when Jesus died for all of our sins, he died for the process of justification by faith, sanctification, redemption. So there's more than just dying for our sins. You get the gift of the Holy Spirit and the gift of salvation by the sanctification process by which he did on the cross.
Right, but I think what Sammy was getting at was you're saying that sin still exists, whatever sin is, but you're saying that Jesus died for everybody's sins. So how can sin still exist if Jesus
that's a
died?
good example because you're using that in an absolute standard way, like if you knew it in an absolute standard way. Like you're saying that Jesus died for our sins, absolutely. Like you think that Jesus died for our sins, absolutely, and it's done. Like you can't sin no more, and you're sinless. It doesn't work that way. You're not sinless.
Oh,
so you have to have faith in God and to have salvation because you're a sinner and you're not sinless. Only God is sinless, and He only through His merits and through His works, and not by what you do. And you can only have faith by Him because He lived a perfect life. And he died a perfect life for you and me to have salvation.
Whoa. Just, there's full stops, man. In the English language, there's a thing called full stops, okay? Where you just don't go, woo, and just keep going and going. Just, Jesus did this and he died for us because this is true and that's the way it was and I believe in this and that was it and do you not believe in that and there and blah, 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 blah. One thing at a time or ask a fucking question. Don't rant. Alright, he's asking direct questions. We expect direct answers back. Please.
What was your question?
Exactly. You don't even know what the question was because you went on for so fucking long.
No, he
okay, no, sorry, right, Carlton. Carlton, just.
I was talking about the other guy, but go ahead.
All right, yeah. Well, Sammy asked the question a load of times. I then asked it, and he then asked it again. If you can't remember after 3 different people talking to you and asking you the question, you're proving my point by saying that you're waiting for your turn to speak and not actually listening. Carlton, seeing as he's not listening, do you want to try for a 3rd point?
Hopefully he'll get it this time. Okay.
Well, the other point was what the other guy said. That's all. He said I was confused in the fact that Jesus died for nothing, but that was for the record.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for the record. I wrote it down in the memorandum and the memories and all them minutes things in the corner of the meeting. We'll save it. Carlton, point number 3, please.
Yes. What is?
Oh wait, never mind. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was gonna write it in the chat. I interrupted you. I apologize. I was just wanting to know what was the name of that one civilization? I guess it's more of like a system of villages rather than like a full-on civilization that still hasn't been touched by Western people and nobody's allowed to go there. Do you know the name of it?
The Sentinelese? Is that the one?
That sounds very right.
Island.
That's the guy that killed the guy. Yeah, the group of people that killed the guy.
I have a point there, but I'll wait until you're done.
Yeah. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. I love you, man. Go on ahead.
Skyout, you keep saying that there is an absolute standard. Like you believe in an absolute standard, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Why does there have to be
absolute? What you just said, is that absolute?
What? Wait, you need me to tell you if what I
No,
said was
the
absolute?
words
I believe in an absolute
you're
standard.
using, the words that you're using to explain to me something, are they absolute or subjective?
The words are
What?
descriptive. He's making a point.
Well,
in
language is a social construct.
Yeah, exactly.
When you use language to describe something to me, is it subjective or absolute?
That makes
What
no
does-
sense.
What relevance
Is that
has it?
absolute? Or is that subjective, what you just said? That makes no sense. Is that absolute or subjective?
What are you doing?
on.
What are you doing? Please let the man finish. The man will ask the question. If you
I'm
can't
saying
understand,
I
all right.
don't think he can even ask the question if he doesn't believe it's absolute or subjective. That's my point. He doesn't understand.
Oh yeah, because
Well-
you're smarter than him. Yeah, sorry.
You're asking him if language is absolute or subjective. And if you think about
Yeah.
it, language is a social construct.
If he
Depending on,
speaks
like,
it to
which
you in
society
French,
or
will it-
micro community that you live in, language will change.
If he
And
says
in
it to you
that
in
sense,
French,
it
would you
be.
prefer?
But again, if you don't believe in God,
No, we're
then
just
it's
off
not
the topic. We're off the tongue. We're off it. I'm bringing it back on. No, we're not derailing it. Carlton, please ask your question again. If Skyout has a problem understanding it, I will break it down into simple English for him. Please ask your question again because he's probably forgot.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good question. What was my question to you, Skyout?
You were going to ask me about an absolute standard.
No, that was your question to him, wasn't it?
Yeah. What was my specific question to you?
Well, I interrupt you, so
But I asked a specific question to you before you interrupted me.
I interrupted you. I didn't catch it then. You were going to go on to an absolute something.
You don't know what he was going to do. You don't know what he was going to do. You don't know that. Carlton, do you want to skip
Just gonna
that
point
question
out-
and move on to another one? How many have you got? We could be here all night. Moving on to
Just
the
gonna
next one.
point out right now that he told the world his agenda of flipping the subject onto an absolute standard to us all right now.
No.
He's gonna try and derail.
Go on ahead,
the
Carlton.
conversation.
I'm gonna mute AR. Muting AR. Fucking cunts. Fucking high in speed going mad here. Right.
Oh boy.
Well, I would like to respond to that because
Respond to
if there
what?
is
You
no
can't remember
God,
the
then
question. You can't remember the question. How can you respond to it?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter because it just means you're
It
waffling.
doesn't matter. It's the agnostic position that whatever
It's
you
not-
say is a mindless, unguided process from evolution. Whatever you say or don't say is a mindless,
He's
unguided process
degeneralization.
from evolution.
And now we're on to the evolution.
Incorrect.
Now we're on to the
If-
evolution.
if-
Okay.
If you believe that there is no God, that you came from an advanced primate, you don't have an absolute standard and everything.
Do you know this? This is like, man, seriously, you're just scripting. Please, look what you've done. You've killed Carlton. You've killed the man. You've killed him. All right. Fucking
He's
hell.
describing atheism, not agnosticism,
Oh.
as well.
Carlton, so
Agnosticism
we're going to move that
is
on.
not a position in either direction.
Well, there is no God and there is no meaning, no purpose.
You heard him.
and
You heard him.
Oh
describe
my
himself. There
goodness.
is no God.
This
There
is
is no God. There's no meaning. there's no
Skyout just
purpose,
converted to atheism.
There's no
guys.
absolute
But
standard.
that's not what agnosticism
wrong.
right.
says.
Shush. The only two people that is allowed to speak is Carlton and Skyout. Carlton, we have clearly lost that question. Have you another point? Because this is going well.
Is it morally wrong to have sex with a goat?
What the absolute fuck?
What?
Or is
Okay.
it morally
Okay.
wrong to have sex with a goat?
Okay, we're not going to do that. Either Carlton's going to... No, we're not doing that. That is one of the... As I shouted at AR for one of them fucking damn things that we hear all the time, that's Jill talk. That's what you're doing.
Well, wait a minute.
All right?
Wait a minute. There's no God. There's no meaning. There's no purpose. Is having sex with a goat wrong? There's no
It
God,
depends.
there's no
Did the
meaning,
goat consent?
purpose.
Did the goat
Did the
consent?
goat consent?
Did the goat consent?
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
There's no God. There's
No.
meaning,
You're
there's
saying...
no
So
purpose.
you're saying it doesn't matter. So you're saying it
there's
doesn't
no
matter.
God.
I'm saying I
There's
have to
no
get
God.
consent. I'm saying I have to get by... Well, you're putting me in a box, which is
Why?
fucking wrong. And I'm telling you, by my moral
Why?
standard, I must get at least the consent of the goat.
But your moral standard has no absolute standard of measurement in the absence of God. So there's no God.
Could
Why
you do
not
me a
have sex
favor?
with a goat?
Could you teach me this skill that you have for reading minds? Because I swear to God, I could go to the local casino and make a few pound. This would be really good. I'm doing the house up at the minute. I'm a few short and a few quid.
I
Being able to
can't
read
show you
minds.
be-
Read minds would
can't
be
show you-
fantastic.
I cannot show you because there's no God, and there's no meaning, there's no purpose.
I know.
And doing
I know
wrong
Christians.
things is
I know
not wrong.
Christians. that believe in evolution and say that God started the whole thing. I also know Christians that think that the Cambrian explosion was the start of it and that was the creation moment. I also know fucking young earth creationists. It doesn't matter. What you're talking about has fuck all to do with what Carlton asked you. You tried to control the conversation, you took it down your wee route and kept repeating the same things that you want to say over and over again. You didn't even, no, please let me finish. Please let me finish. You stated yourself, it did not matter that you did not remember the question because you wanted to respond anyway. And you just did your wee thing. So we're going to move on, give Carlton an opportunity to give us another giggle. Have you another point there, Carlton?
Skyout. Man, I don't think I did. Jeez. Oh no, I don't think I. He's pretty much. I think at this point I'm gonna give up because I can tell that Skyout's going by a script now. That's why he's
I will
saying.
put my stuff on camera. If you want me to.
You don't need to put it on camera, man. You could have memorized it. It doesn't matter. You did. This was an opportunity for you to come on and do your shtick, or else make an actual effort. You did your shtick. That was it.
Okay.
Okay, I give you plenty of opportunities. It has been going nearly 2 hours now. Carlton's ran out of things. I am absolutely giggled out. My left and right cheek is sore. Okay, man, I have to thank you for coming in. You're more than welcome to come back again, and I will do a complete show dedicated to you, where it'll be me and you for an hour, and you can ask me any questions you want. Questions that you will ask me, not statements that you will make, and not put me in a box. But I will give you a full hour, well, 45 minutes, and then questions from the audience, but I will give you a full 45 minutes to come on and question me on topics that you pick and choose. Not make statements, not ask me a question, I give you an answer, and then you say that I'm wrong because a piece of paper that says agnostic says this. Okay?
Well, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate that, and for having everyone. I hope I didn't offend anybody. Again, this is just my position of the Christian perspective. Again, if you guys want to talk again, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody. Thank you for having me on the show, and I wish everyone God bless and Jesus Christ. Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome here, man, anytime, and I don't mean to come across, I'm blunt. I'm just blunt. I don't hold grudges, but I'm fucking blunt. I'll say it how I say it. You're more than welcome back on again, and as I say, we'll make it all about you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
More than welcome, my man. More than welcome. Right, well, I'll let you see yourself to the door, and then because it's Carlton's after party, we'll do another wee minute about him, and then we'll end it because it is getting late. So, Carlton, it's all about you. When's the new movie coming out?
Oh man. No, okay, so I started on the music yesterday, so I'm hoping to have it out by the end of the year. Don't laugh. Yeah, I'm hoping to have it out by the end of the year, but we'll see.
Man, thanks very much for coming on. The links to his channel will be eventually in the fucking description. I appreciate you coming on. I hope you had a good time. I hope you had fun.
Oh, I definitely did.
Yeah.
I will say, like this, I had a conversation, as I told you before, with Aaron Ford on my channel.
Yes.
And I hated that conversation. You can ask my wife. It was awful. But having this conversation with you, it's amazing. It was amazing. I was really nervous. I'm like, oh no, is it anything going to be interesting, or am I going to have fun? Blah blah blah.
I think we had no. But we'll be honest, man. There was a 20-minute period there where we were surfing for fucking conversation. It's okay,
Yeah.
But it all come back round again. It all come back round as it always does. It's I don't know. It's good fun. It's definitely enjoyable from my fucking end, and I really appreciate you coming on. So. AR, if you want to plug your non-channel before we go, no?
Well, I don't really have a channel right now, not really doing much. Sub to Carlton, he's had some pretty good debates. I'm not sure if you saw his little thing with Jill, it was pretty great.
Oh.
I did not. Send me that link, man. I could get some popcorn.
I think he did pretty well. For that, anyone could be, working with a dishonest actor like him.
Yeah.
And speaking of Jill,
No. That was one mention of him, and I already said he is the man who shall not be named. I'll let you get in. Yeah, he's a cunt. I hate mentioning him.
The person who shall not be named. This has to do with like a possible re-debut onto fucking YouTube and Twitch and junk. Hopefully, still working out the kinks with James from Modern Day Debate. I'll be doing a simulcast of my debate with Jill on the efficacy of conversion therapy. So look out for that. I'm mostly on Twitter. The Atheist R is my tag, so go follow me there. Have a lot of fun.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for jumping in. Sorry if I came across as blunt and cut you off a few times, but I at least want to put across the idea that I'm as rude to Christians as I am to atheists as I am to pagans.
No,
I'm not saying I'm as nice to
about
everybody because I'm as rude to everybody.
Don't worry about it. I just meme on these people a little too hard, and I know it can be a little annoying sometimes. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for inviting me.
No, more than welcome. Thanks for coming. I'll let you see yourself to the door. And Carlton, yeah, I'm just going to end the stream. So everybody, thanks for coming. And I think Skylar's live, so jump over there. We'll see you on Skylar's channel. Have fun and bye-bye.